What's up, Gemini gang? Welcome to my channel, Tarot by the Intuitive Teacup. That's me. My name's Annie, and I'm going to read your tarot cards for the week. Just a heads up, this specific reading, and I mean by specific, I mean this week. This is a general reading for Geminis. But the reading this week is going to be geared more towards rising signs. So if you're a Gemini rising, awesome, you're in the right place. If Gemini, Sun, Moon, Venus signs want to join this reading, of course you are welcome. Everyone is welcome into this reading. I do just highly encourage you to check out your rising sign video as well, because I am going to be looking at sort of the planetary placements in addition to where the tarot cards are this week, okay? These are general messages. Use your logic, your discernment, your discretion. Only take away what resonates with you. Take away messages that motivate, empower you, inspire you. That's what I'm looking to do here today. So if you're not feeling that way, feel free to check back another time, okay? You're accountable and responsible for all your own actions and decisions. That's my spiel. Let's read your tarot cards here. Going around the wheel. Ooh, yeah. I like something coming in over here. Okay. All right. Awesome. There might be a Gemini coming into your life. I'm not sure if that's a business deal or something romantic or a new best friend. There's a Gemini who hasn't quite made their way in yet, but in the 12th house of all things hidden, they see you. Like they're looking you up. It could even be like a recruiter or something crazy like that. Like someone's looking at your profile or looking at you and sizing you up, seeing if you fit the bill. And I mean, if it's romantic, they're definitely like, there is sort of a more amorous, I'll say in a polite way, connection that they have to you. But I'm not sure you've been made aware of who this person is yet, because you're still focused on something else. It seems like you have some sort of major decision that you're grappling with. Yeah, and you're very conflicted about it. Very Gemini, and one day you're on, one day you're off. Or one day you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then you're like, well, maybe I shouldn't. You seem to be really struggling with this decision. It will come to some sort of culmination. Hold on, let me see where the story is headed. It might be regarding a male air sign, a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Could be a job offer. Your dating life, you seem to have a new opportunity to travel. But with that, you're also feeling kind of constricted in a relationship. And it might be within a parent-child relationship. It could also have to do with a new romantic prospect or any romantic prospect. It doesn't have to be new. You're feeling a little bit constricted, and the thing is, you are going to liberate yourself from this because it's getting sort of uncomfortable. So I don't know if you started dating somebody and the vibe is just kind of, you're not feeling it anymore. There's something you're going to liberate yourself from, and I do think that's also why the King of Swords is coming up. The King of Swords, obviously, he holds the sword, right, which is used to sever. So you may have been fighting the urge to end something, or trying to play devil's advocate, or trying to justify reasons for staying, but I think you're liberating yourself from this. And I will say for most of you, if this is resonating, I see that being a very positive choice for you, because not only are you sort of getting antsy and not making the decision and grappling with it. And I do get from your energy, it feels very weighted. It feels very important. I think you're weighing out the pros and cons and also thinking about repercussions. I get it, right? That's a normal part of the process, and good for you for taking this matter seriously. But at some point, your indecision is going to be more of a, like the lead weight, so to say. You liberating yourself from this, you're finally going to sleep peacefully at night. And I think in time, or not even in time, I would say almost immediately, I think you're going to realize you made the right decision. For those who this makes sense for, if you have been trying to get pregnant or conceive, there may be very happy news of adding a child to the family. Some of you may even be pursuing adoption. Some of you may be getting engaged in some sort of exclusive contract, whether it's business or marriage contract with a Leo. That could also be the decision that you're grappling with, because maybe it would force you, or by default, you would have to leave a current position in order to take the new one. Something with a Leo looks very positive for you right now, and very liberating. It might be very different than what you've ever done before. But and it may even be a highly creative opportunity. It doesn't have to be. There could also be some sort of contract position where you would be working with children. Yeah, I absolutely see messages of family planning here. You have a lot of really strong cards for family dynamics. And the irony is, or not irony, but if you may be feeling a little bit stifled within your own family. Sorry, how do I want to phrase this? There's mom and dad family, there's aunt and uncle family, there's cousins, there's husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend family, if you will, right? So there's some struggle and conflict within the household right now, but there's also really positive news arriving about, I'm going to say, addition to the family, or some sort of new life, new invigorated energy being brought into a family unit. So if it's not child stuff or baby related, it could be news of engagement within your family. Maybe your cousin just got engaged, or your sister. Like, there's something about the family is growing, and there's a very positive energy to it, even though at home there may be a little bit of, I don't know, you might be in conflict with someone in your family this week, but I don't necessarily think it's the same. I think these are two different people. So you're having a full moon in your 8th house of what we call sex and death. 8th house has a lot to do with scorpionic energy, so death and rebirth, transformation, right? And also it is, because it is opposite the 2nd house, which is more Taurus-related material, possessions, money, things of that sort, Venus energy. Opposite that, we call your 8th house, in addition to the house of sex and death and mental health, very much associated with that. All things hidden, the past. Well, I shouldn't say all things hidden, but the past for sure. It's also the area that is very connected to other people's money and other people's resources. So if 2nd house is the money you earn on your own, opposite that, 8th house is money you may acquire via loans, government checks, almost like insurance related things, the lottery, things of that sort. So if you have been waiting on some sort of payout with the full moon culminating in that 8th house, you may start to see the reward of some sort of, I just want to say, money that you've been waiting on. This may even have a very positive impact on your romantic life or something with your husband or your wife. Again, there could be a really lovely merging of creative partnerships. And it might even be a husband-wife duo, or I should say romantic couple. I never mean to assume different genders in couples. You know, obviously it could be same-sex couples as well. I'm purely looking at the image, so I apologize for the slip of the tongue there. Especially with a Leo, there could be a really strong creative collaboration, whether you're romantically involved or not. It seems to be very creative, and I just want to say liberating. I know that's an odd term to use, but I guess I'm just giving you an example. If you've been at a job where you're just feeling stifled and you need that breath of fresh air, going to this other project or assisting on this other team, networking with this other person who can bring, again, just a breath of fresh air to your current work situation, it feels just like bathing in the sun. It feels warm. It feels nice. It feels... I just keep wanting to say, if you've been stifled or feeling just kind of suffocated or down in the dumps, this is like a... oh my God, this feels good. Like, just feeling that sun on your face. I don't know why that's coming through so strongly, but it really, really is. Yeah, so major travel opportunities. Some of you are going to go and travel and see a new baby in your family. So whether that's your niece, your nephew, your cousin, your, whatever. Traveling to see an infant or a child. And also romantically... You may have already gone on some sort of expedition, especially with a fire sign, an Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. And it may have been, I'm almost wanting to say you had your first fight. If this is a new romantic prospect, it's almost like, just the stress and chaos and anarchy that especially can come with like airport travel, like, flights delayed and then you missed your, you lost your bag or this or that. I'm not necessarily saying that's going to happen, though I will say you do have Saturn sitting in your 9th house right now. So with that, there's a lot of karmic lessons to you, especially in terms of long distance travel right now. It seems like you went on, and it could be a business trip too. It doesn't have to be romantic, but you went on some sort of travel or expedition, or you're going to, and you walk away with a different perspective on this person. And I'm not saying you're ending it, but it's reason for pause. It's giving you thought about something that maybe you initially had overlooked. I'm curious to get a little bit more on that. Okay, so for some of you, it's not bad. For some of you, I don't mean to overlap these. I know this seems a little bit like, rom-com. This almost has a vibe of a coworker who you're starting to catch feelings for. Especially if you guys, I fully acknowledge this is very specific and seems very fairy tale storybook-esque, but I am getting the storyline of people who go on like a business trip together or some sort of creative financial collaboration. They end up catching feelings for one another, which does happen, right? So if it's not that this person rubbed you the wrong way, it's just something transpired during this trip that made you think or feel differently about them. And I think you're either considering like asking them out or bringing this relationship to the next level. If it's not romantic, it could be that you guys went, on the road together and did some sort of thing. I'm almost thinking of like the movie Tommy Boy, where your relationship has grown in a different direction now, and so you may be starting to take this relationship or this business partnership more seriously and starting to see more potential in it and where it could grow in the future. It doesn't come without a little bit of struggle or obstacles. There is an obstacle that occurs here, but it's almost like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. The fact that you guys made it through this obstacle together, I just keep wanting to say you're starting to see this person in a different light, but in a way that you were not anticipating or expecting. And so, I don't know, Gemini, it seems like you want to be more serious in this partnership, whatever type of partnership it is. Yeah, you are bringing in your houses of money, houses 2, 6, and 10. You seem to be, again, grappling with some sort of decision, but after you give it a bit, give it a bit of thought, sort through it a bit more intellectually, there's just so much potential here. There's so much untapped potential. And again, typically this card talks about family first and foremost, so you may be getting into the family business. If not that could just be a metaphor of legacy, longevity, the long term. It could be a business that maybe it's a startup, maybe it's like an up and coming thing, but it has the potential to span generations. That's really what this card does say. And sometimes, Ten of Cups, it's great. Typically, it's a card we all look forward to. This is coming up more future oriented, but it does talk about in your 10th house, your public life, your public status, the way people view you in a more career sense. It's like all in the family. There's a very welcoming energy to what you're doing this week. And with the rainbow, I always think of like inclusivity, right? Almost like Pride Month, right? Some of you may be working on, marketing or something where you're trying to gear towards inclusivity or something like that. It's what we call the Cinderella story, the fairy tale ending. So isn't that interesting that it's interesting that I started off saying like, I know this sounds really like, rom-com, fairy tale, but it really does. Your cards are so strong. You go from the sun, happiness. This is just pure joy. In your 7th house of partnerships and committed relationships, to this, which, even if you're interested in the same gender, there's like a very cozy, we work well together. Then it leads to this, the Queen of Passion, the Queen of Travel, Entertainment, Spirituality. It's sexy, she's charismatic, she's fun, she's liberated, she speaks her truth. But she's very admired by people, right? Very well respected. There's also sort of a mystical witchy quality to the Queen of Wands. And then that goes to the 10 of Cups. So that's what I mean, whatever this is. And again, I even see the storyline of like, romantic couple, buying a house, starting a family. Like you do have a lot of kid energy here too. So, and again, some of you may work in a career related to children or something like that, but. And if this has not come in for you yet, I would say that makes sense to me too with the reading, because what it starts off with, like the first card, first house, is contemplation, assessment. Where am I at? What am I currently doing? Am I happy? Do I see value in this? Do I need to mix up the ingredients? Am I bored? Why am I not feeling stimulated? Am I being impatient? Do I need to commit more to this, right? You're asking yourself a lot of questions, and I will say, getting a little bit lost in your head. Quite simply, what this says to me, no matter what issue you're dealing with, right? I don't mean to just, sweep it under the rug of, oh, you're being dramatic, you're overwhelmed by silly things. I'm not saying that. I'm sure you may have many things that are weighing heavily on your mind right now, Gemini. However, this card always says you need to trust your intuition because the answer has always existed. It always resides within you. And I don't always say that, depending on what the situation is. But when this comes up, that little moon that's up in sort of the corner there, it says trust your intuition. And your intuition is your direct connection to source, to the divine, to God, whatever you believe in, right? So this is not necessarily a time where you need to be seeking the opinions or approval of all those around you. Depending on your situation, I'm not necessarily sure you need to go and talk this through with a mentor or with your boss or with your mom or with your... It really, to me, is saying you already know the right answer, so you do need to trust that you, Gemini, know what is best for you. Because from that, you're going to have some sort of insight that does come to you where you step forward and you're ready to make the decision. And I think this is important to note, too. There isn't just this epiphany where all of a sudden it all falls into place and you're like, I know the answer. This is the correct path. I wish I could tell you that. I know that would make things a whole lot simpler, but this is truly a test of understanding that it's all about faith. If you see potential in something or someone, or you just feel that your heart is called to it, maybe that is your sign, right? And maybe even though you go from, I'm not sure, to, okay, I'm going to move forward with this, there is still going to be bits of conflict when you move forward with this. And I think that's normal. So that's why I guess I'm saying to you, this does seem like a very big decision. This could be uprooting yourself and moving to a new city, moving to a new job, moving in with your significant other. This seems like a pretty major life event for you. You have a lot of major arcana, but what I'm wanting to point out here is that these are not bad cards. And I mean, really in tarot, there are no bad cards, right? There's trickier energy. You really don't have a lot of those, aside from maybe this. Any 5 in tarot says, ooh, okay, it's a little messy, it's a little chaotic, but it's not bad because from these sort of, I don't even want to use the word tumultuous, but unsteady, turbulent, agents of change and chaos, from these moments, that's where true growth happens, right? That's where you sort of have these recognitions of, oh, I'm not happy doing this, so I'm going to work through this to get to, point A to point B. I think you're kind of straddling the two right now. I think you're very much on the fence. So I see you moving forward with a very important decision. And the only reason I'm sharing this with you is to give you more encouragement that you're going to have days where you second guess yourself, and that's okay. If I'm being honest with you, I see you starting to second guess yourself the more you share with your parents. I'll be honest. I don't know if it's mother or father. The thing is, you also have the 10 of Cups coming through here. So that says to me, if this is a career decision, you are working your way towards the career of your dreams. So why do you need your parents' approval to do it? And this I suppose could go vice versa. If you, I'm not going to judge. I'm trying to imagine a scenario where your child is weighing in heavily on, maybe you're trying to stay in the hometown your child grew up in, and they have a lot of roots. They're very anchored in that area, but your dream job is taking you to a different city and your kid is very nervous about it, right? Do you understand what I mean? The more you share with your family, and I get it, it's complicated, it's your family. Of course you want to include them, especially if you do have a close relationship with them. That's where a lot of the drama and conflict is coming in for you this week. So I'm not saying this is forever, but as you make this executive decision, if you want to consult your favorite, most close, loyal confidants, right? Your soul tribe, your people, I'm not saying you can't. I would say that the more you share, the more opinions you ask for, it may actually muddy the waters. I think it's actually going to take away from the clarity you're starting to feel about making this important decision, because ultimately this is the beginning of a new chapter. It's the ending of an old one and the beginning of a new one. It's almost like, interestingly enough, showing up in your 5th house of children. There's a lot of themes of children in this. I know this is a bit graphic, but it's almost like you're pushing yourself through the birth canal again. You're coming out on the other side, and it's, or, let's say Alice in Wonderland, through the rabbit hole, right? When you land on the other side, it's very new, it's very different, it's a little bit unique, it's eccentric, but there's something very good, there's something very beautiful about that, because you are stepping outside your comfort zone. And that might be what this is too. Like, I know this will be good for me, but it kind of scares the crap out of me. That could be what this is too. Especially in terms of putting yourself in a position that makes you more public facing. It makes you more seen. It could be that you're doing something on the internet. It could be that you're performing in theaters. It could be that there's a lot more attention on you, and that you may have a lot of trepidation about. You may have to give some sort of public speech where people are seeing you. And the thing is, with this card, I think you're going to crush it. I think there's something very delicious, consumers. I mean, getting the idea of like people want to consume what you're providing to them, but you seem a little bit out of your element or uncomfortable doing it. I'm just one tarot reader of a million, but I would say this is a very good opportunity for you. After you get past this initial like trepidation, conflict, inner turmoil, your cards get so amazing. Like, you build your confidence more and more the closer you get to this or the more times you do it. You need to almost be your own cheerleader or be your own coach. You need to look at the scenario and ask yourself what can be gained from it. Not so much what will you lose by stepping away from the old chapter or the old house or the old whatever. It's like right now, whatever you're moving towards, like it's just a drop in the cup. You don't have a lot of proof or evidence that it could succeed wildly, but yet intuitively, psychically, Gemini, you kind of feel this. You, even if this is not romantic, it's almost just the idea of compatibility. It's like you merge with this, you mix with it, it falls into place. It's like you were born to do this. That's sort of what I get here. Yeah, a lot of you, I don't know if this is a job, if this is literally teaching or being a professor. For most of you, it's not so much that, but it's the idea that you have a lot to teach people. You have a lot of wisdom and insight and things to offer that other people, it's like they would flock to it. They would love it. There's something very, I'm hearing like picture perfect about what you're doing. And I always say this, but I truly believe it. By not going after that long-term wish or dream, not only are you denying yourself of that happiness, but you're denying all the people the happiness of what they could gain from you. And I think a lot of times we forget to look at it like that too, you know? Yeah, you're becoming the queen or king of your career, however you want to say it. There's a lot of power in whatever role or position or situation that you're headed towards. Some of you may be grappling with the decision to break off a partnership or a marriage or some sort of connection in order to pursue this new one. If that's the case, I'm almost wondering if your person is going to be blindsided by it. I do feel like, especially if you already live with this person, if it is more marriage or something of the sort, it seems like it has been turbulent for a while, but it always resolved itself, or there was just almost like nobody wins the argument and that's that. Like, it seems like that has been happening quite a lot for some of my Geminis. And so the fact that you've actually been contemplating, am I ready to end this relationship? This is not a reason to dissuade you from doing it. I mean, you know what's best, but I do almost see it as your person may try and talk you out of it. That's what I mean. It's like the more you share about some big plan you have, there's a lot of people who, I'm not saying they're malicious or want anything bad for you, but it's almost like these people submit to their own fear in the world. And unfortunately, whatever this is, it requires you to be fearless. It requires you to be very confident. And so again, share what you like with who you like, but I would be cognizant that this decision impacts you the most. So you really need to be the one making it from your heart, not making decisions based on what others are telling you or what other people are saying is going to happen. What is that expression? It's like, don't ask travel advice from someone who's never left their house. That's a really perfect metaphor for what I see going on here. It's not that these people are bad, but it's like they're trying to give you gems of wisdom on things that they really know nothing about. So, common sense, sure, yeah, that's good to filter into your decision, but you already know that, Gemini. Like, no one else has put this decision through as many filters as you have. So by adding more ideas and people to it, it's muddying the waters. This is really a time for you to step up and make the executive decisions for yourself. There's definitely a lot of fire energy here. I'm sensing it's multiple people. There may be a Gemini coming into your life, but you may also be exiting something with a Gemini as well. It can work both ways. Let's see what bottom of the deck is. Ace of Wands, a new beginning, triumphant. And again, courage, something about the wand energy. It's fire. It burns right through, right? There's something about it's unstoppable. You can't tame the fires. You can't tame the fires of love and desire, Gemini. All right, that's what I got for you guys. Last thing I want to say, the Sun and Venus, both important planets. Venus especially being benefic, whether it's love or money. Venus rules both. Is moving through your second house of income and self-value, self-worth. You may be, I want to say like putting on the Ritz. You may be showing up extra glamorous this week. There may be a lot of attention on you, whether it's romantically, amorously, or just this idea of valuing yourself more and presenting yourself that way in the world. Also with the Sun being there, the Sun is not always... In astrology, we consider it more of like a malefic, more of like it can be a negative energy. I don't think that's always the case. Obviously, it depends on what's going on with the Sun. The Sun is highlighting this area where a decision does need to be made. And I'm not saying you need to rush the process, but the light is literally like, what we need to focus on in the coming weeks is this. So whatever you're grappling with internally, give yourself the time and space and attention to sort through the details as best you can, because I'm wanting to say in Leo season, it's go time, baby. So if this is a quieter time in your life, or if you're feeling sort of isolated or removed from the hustle and bustle, that might actually be very strategic on the part of the universe, because with Mars and Leo, there's something about, I don't know why I'm wanting to say Leo season, it's going to be go time. And that does rule your third house, so it's much busier than this kind of second house activity. Anyway, all right, I'm going to leave you with that, Gemini. Thanks for tuning in today. Please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next week for more tarot. Bye, guys.